This is my second try at this. I have a I thought I had a pretty good setup for my live streams, and apparently I don't because it crashed, and all I use this computer for is going live. So we'll try this again. Hello, my name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pod. I'm a hello scientist. It is Sunday, February 8th, 4:48 p.m. And I'm going to attempt to answer questions before the big game starts. Hopefully it works and it stays stable this time. This is a former gaming computer, has a 2080 in it, and you think it would be actually a 3080 in it, and you think it'd be pretty stable. Hello, ID Flyer and Mr. Montero. It does appear to be working now. So I just finished 7 days of reserve and didn't get called at all. Pretty nice. I have 4 more days of reserve left for the month. Hi, hey, did you know Breeze Airways has a Finzel lens on board? I did not. I had no idea what a Finzel lens is. Howdy, Mr. Sullivan. And Mr. Raymond Balderrama from East Texas. I do miss my East Texas and Tyler Roses. So being the 8th of the month, bidding opens for my airline, and I am able to bid for my schedule for next month. Now I'm very, very junior still, so I can bid, and then I'll probably get Boston, London, if I'm going to be honest with you. Who got me winning? Well, I got lucky. Oh, who I got winning for the big game? I want to say the Seahawks. I think they're playing. I hope it's the Seahawks. Not. I don't want New England to win. That's for darn sure. Pendulins are things used in lighthouses. Interesting. I have no other way that on board. So next month, for my bidding purposes, I am number 211. No, I'm number 219 out of 301. There are 211 line holders, meaning I am 8 numbers outside being a guaranteed line holder. Although every single month, people who are a senior opt to bid reserve for various reasons. Like I bid reserve this month, even though I'm not very senior. So I'm betting I will probably be a line holder next month, but I'll probably get, well, we'll see. I am going to be pretty picky on my line. I don't want to go to Buenos Aires, Santiago, Honolulu, or Maui. So I'll be marking all those cities out, or places I don't want to go. Pastor instrument written and working on my multi since I last checked in. My legs are looking buff these days. Split the ball. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So yeah. See, back in my day, I did private single engine. Then I did multi engine instrument all at the same time. I'm not sure they do it nowadays. The company, the company Airbuses have the brake fan option. Most, yes, I think every Airbus on property has the brake fan option. I think they even installed them on some birds we got from Frontier. I'm Tyler. We enjoy your videos. Thank you very much. Darren, take some Boston trips when they are open for you. Here's the problem. The Boston trips, it's a they head to Boston, fly to London, fly back to Boston, and then they head home. It's cold in Boston still in March. And what does that Darren not do? Cold. I'll be 52% on the bus in your base come June, starting to get constant 3-day trips and loving it. And that's what I'd like, right? I would like to have 3-day trips consistently on the Airbus as a captain, and I'm not going back to the Airbus so I can do that consistently. But even then, we have a message board for my airline on Facebook, and I see these people that are very senior. Like one guy picked up a turn, like fly out, base to outstation back to base, and thought he was going home. And they tagged him with more flying and made it a 2-day trip. Now, you can always call in sick, fatigue it, whatever, but it's like on the wide body, that doesn't happen. Like, I don't go to work to do a London trip and then end up having to do, oh, and you're also going to Narita after that. That doesn't happen. Go see. I do hope the Seahawks win and not New England because they won too many times. Anything from a cold Charlotte outstation overnight? I hate cold. La la la. Oh, Shelby. We do PPL and instrument. We do PPL instrument, commercial multi, singleton add-on, CFI, CII. That's similar to how I did it. Well, so you do private pilot, instrument, and then you do all your time building in the single engine, and then you do commercial multi instrument at the same time. I see. It's cheaper that way. How I do mainline pilots check the wings for contamination and ice. As a regional guy, I can see the tops of the wings easily on a walk around. Mr. Gavin, great question. And it's happened. So my next video coming up on Thursday, I just finished it today. Finished draft 15 anyway. Uh, concerns de-icing on the 777, and basically we can't see the top of the wings. Well, no, you can't see the top of the tail. And so when I do my walk around for in ice, I do the walk around, and I can see ice under the wings, which I saw, and in the landing gear. And then as far as the top of the wings, I go back into the cabin, and I can walk down the cabin and look at the wings that way and see if there's any contamination that way. But as far as the top of the tail, I can't see. And so we got de-iced. You see me watch my video, next video, I discussed how the plane could probably take off just fine, but for this particular situation, there had been no precipitation for hours, but there was definite ice under the wings and definite ice in the landing gear. And I'm like, that's enough for me. We'll go ahead and get de-iced. But as far as the top of the tail, we can't see at all. The top of the wings, we can look at from the inside the cabin. Hey, Darren, long time no see since Sun and Fun. Love seeing you in person in the airline tent. Hey, Zach, great to meet you, and I hope to go back to Sun and Fun next year as well. Hey, Bill, love the content. Enjoy the Dreamliner trip 194 Dallas to Barcelona on a cruise now. Awesome. I'm going on a cruise soon as well. Technical interview for First Officer 135 company this week. Any advice on JEP charts and what to look out for? No. So this happened to me on my Eagle interview back in 07. At the time, I was at ATP doing my training, and at the time, ATP used FAA charts. We did not have JEP charts at. No, wait. Did we have JEP charts at ATP? Oh, you might catch me lying. I think maybe we did have JEP charts. I think we did have paper JEP charts toward the end of my training. I think when I started at ATP, we had FAA charts for the private pilot, and we went into JEP charts later on. I think that's how it went. Regardless, know the different symbology on a JEP chart versus an FAA chart, and just take your time. For a tech interview, you're not flying an airplane. You're not moving. You're in a seat. So just take your time and give your best answer, and know how to find the symbology for JEP charts. It should be a guide or index you should be able to look through reference as well. But know how to brief an approach. Briefing an approach via an FAA chart is the same as a JEP chart. Know how to brief an arrival, a departure, and that kind of thing. Know how to read an airport diagram, that kind of thing. Go back to the Airbus for captain. Would you want to fly the XLR on transatlantic routes? I would not. I hope to go to Sun and Fun, Jessica. Unfortunately, I'm so junior that, because it's in April this year, I have to bid the days off. I can't guarantee them off, so I have to wait till I bid for my April schedule in March, so I'll have to wait till I get my bid. How are you doing out there? Also, to the jump seat on the bus on the way home from NGPA, was shocked at how small the checklist was. Yeah, it's very small. It's a gentleman's airplane. The 777 checklist is, I want to say it's even smaller. It's pretty basic. But we do a lot more stuff is done at the gate on the 777 than it does on the Airbus. Is the Sun and Fun worth visiting just for the air show? It is, but yeah. I mean, Sun and Fun, most people go to Sun and Fun for the air show and not for the job fairs. But yeah, it's absolutely worth going to for the air show. And they have a night air show as well. When you trade trips, do you drop them before you find something more appealing, or wait till the ideal trip comes up? Hey, Mr. Hansen. It depends. So when I was on the Airbus, I was a gambler, and I would drop all my trips when I could. I'd have nothing on my schedule, and I'd be waiting, and I'd be always looking for something to pick up. It was a different trip trade system back then. Back then, it was fastest finger gets the trip. Meaning, Mr. Hansen, if you were senior to me, if you were the number one pilot in base, and you were out flying, or you were at Costco, and an awesome trip came in the open time, like an amazing trip, I could pick it up right away. And you'd be like, that junior guy got my trip. But hey, too bad. Now they changed the rules. Now, if an awesome, beautiful trip comes into open time, it has to sit there until 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. At 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., these batch runs go through. So that if you're the senior pilot and you want it, you can be at Costco at 10 a.m. and be like, I'm enjoying my hot dog. Look at this awesome trip. I want that. You put it in the system as you want it at 8 p.m. and I put it in my system as I want it at 8 p.m. System goes, oh, Mr. Hanson wants a trip. Mr. Hanson gets a trip. So they changed how we trip trade, and so it's different now. On the 777, if it's a trip I don't want to do, I'll drop it. I'll drop it, and then I hope for something better. It's a long answer. Sorry. Um, ba, 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 ba. I've been in Mediterranean. I've been to a Mediterranean cruise. It was cool, but honestly, don't like the cruises that much. I would prefer to stay a place for a week. This is a Coke Zero. I get that. On a cruise, you're getting a taste, a very small like appetizer of a country or a city. Even if you were there for 8 hours, you can't really experience a city. But you can use a cruise as an opportunity to just see a city for a few hours and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll come back here again. I've been to Nassau so many times. I don't ever need to go to Nassau again. But yeah. So yeah, I get the cruises. You get a sample of each city. I did go on a cruise once many years ago out of New York to Bermuda. And we were in port in Bermuda for like 3 days. So you were in Bermuda for 3 days. So you get on off the boat all you wanted to. That was a very different kind of cruise. Any clue if the XLR at Kirkland will have an augmented crew? It will have an augmented crew because of the flight times, right? Uh, you know, it takes it's going to take over 8 hours to go from Philly to Portugal, where they'll be going, right? Block time anyway. And so they don't want to risk that going over 9 hours because then you can't go. So they'll have a three pilot crew. I think they have a crew rest seat that'll have a sound barrier around it. Many years ago, and even currently on the 767 at Delta, they don't have a bunk anywhere. They have just a business class seat with a heavy duty noise canceling, noise blocking curtain that goes around the seat. And that's what I think they'll have similar to that on the XLR. My last semester of grad school in Atlanta, so I was thinking of driving down there to get my first air show for the year. Absolutely go down. Yeah, I would absolutely do that and buy tickets in advance. Yeah. Um, and pro tip for like getting a hotel: hotels in the Santa Fe area are stupid expensive. I've been staying in either Tampa and driving. It's an hour drive. It is what it is, or Orlando even and driving. Southern Orlando, like Southwest Orlando. Can 777 captains be relief pilots? Bedgar, yes, kinda, but not in how I'm a relief pilot. So on some trips, like say it's a trip to Australia, I think one of those cities has a 4 pilot crew, but it's 2 captains and 2 first officers. Why? That's how they choose to do it. Now, but they could like our flights to Japan require 4 pilots. If the airline wanted to, they could have 2 captains and 2 first officers. Right now, he was 1 captain, 3 first officers. Why? Because that's the way they want to do it. Now, by having an extra captain on board, you have a contingency, right? Because like if on a 4 pilot crew to Japan, if the 1 captain gets sick in Japan, we can't go anywhere. If you have 2 captains and 2 first officers, you can still go. You can't go all the way back to Dallas, but you could depart uh, Japan and fly to LA with a 3 pilot crew. I've done it before, and then recrew and keep it going to Dallas. So you have some more outs that way. Is there a limit to how many job fairs a year you can go to? There's not, Mr. Cornell. There's not, and I would go to every single one you can. And you're making good money now, so you can always buy your own you buy your own ticket and fly. If you happen to get allergies and you happen to get sick and you can't fly next week, but there's a job fair. You can't non-rev, but you can buy a ticket full price and go. Mr. Anton, you're very welcome. I'm a big cruise guy. New hire Kirkland, line holder Airbus on the Airbus in LaGuardia, but live in DFW. I've been able to drop my LaGuardia trips to pick up at a base in DFW. Life has been good. It is very good that way. Right now, it's a very slow month for 777 in February. I've seen a lot of out of base makeup guys doing what you're doing. Uh, it's just a slow month. I was at home all week last week. I'm not home, but I was on reserve last week and never got called. And every trip that opened up, someone picked it up for as a line holder. Almost every trip, anyway. I'll have a small video about that. I made a video diary every single day of my reserve last week, just giving you a few minute explanation of the day. Of course, it ends with me not going anywhere, so it won't be that exciting. I have no desire to commute, but won't lie. I'm really wanting to make a jump to wide body. The trips at LaGuardia, Philadelphia, short enough compared to DFW that I'm right in thinking I have to do an extra trip. You do have to do an extra trip because, again, so a London trip for me is 19 and a half hours. A London trip for New York is 16 hours. That's 3 hours less. Yeah. And almost all, unless you get New Delhi or Tel Aviv, maybe Rome, there's 16-hour trips. And that's a problem. That's a problem. Being FB on the bus sounds like a pretty easy gig. It will be an easy gig, but again, the Airbus travels slower and lower than the wide bodies do. Again, we cruise at Mach 8.3, 8.4 all day long. Airbus can't do that. Hey, Mr. Torellia, how's the R1S? I love it. Working hard for the R2 for you. Still working on getting my 1C personalized medical. Hoping to be flying soon. Glad you're feeling better with your recent sickness. Thank you. Every time I drive my Rivian R1S, I truly say this is the best vehicle I've ever owned. And I talked about getting a Porsche Cayenne electric when I turn 50 next year, but I love my Rivian so much I don't know if I can do it. My Rivian R1S, it's a tri-motor. It's a little bit a quick girl. It is so versatile and so comfortable and so much fun to drive. I've had a lot of cars in my life. Again, I've had a Tesla Model X Plaid. Overall, I like my Rivian more than I like my Tesla Model X Plaid. Hope you get your medical soon. Hello there. Do you get paid the same amount when you're FO or Leaf Pilot? I get paid the exact same amount. Darren, love the stuff. On the Rolls Royce equipped 777-200s, so you guys start them up both at the same time. Correct. On the 777-200, the Rolls Royce engines, the APU is strong enough to turn both engines at the same time. The GE engines are so large on the 300, we can't do that. When the captain is in rest, are you logging PIC? Great, Gavin. Great question. No. No. Now, even if I'm in the captain's seat for 4 hours and he or she's in the back, and I'm making all the decisions, no PIC for me. Even if we're over the Atlantic Ocean, we have a medical issue in the back. I'm working the whole situation with dispatch and the medical team, and they say head over to head over to Reykjavik, and I start the diversion. No PIC. What would happen if the captain got sick in Narita on your trip? Do you have to wait till a pilot is deadheaded in? Yes. Yeah. Have you been on an Alaska cruise? I have not been on an Alaska cruise. My wife is pregnant, and I'm an aviation geek. Have you seen a pregnant pilot or woman have any pregnancy benefits? What if they don't fly for a couple months? Great question. And I'm going to expand on this one a little bit. So when I first started flying, the woman who was hired, she's one number junior to me. So my employee number ends in 6, hers ends in 7. Our first numbers are exactly the same. Her name is Nicole. She's an awesome woman. We both got hired at the same time. She had like 3 kids before I even had one, and she was flying more. She lives out in North Carolina. She was based in LaGuardia, I think, for a while, most of her time at Eagle. She was flying more and had 3 kids than me. The 3 kids and was flying more a lot. I think you can fly into your 6th month. Don't quote me on that. And then some airlines will allow you to apply for desk duty, like in the chief pilot's office or the flight office, so you can still have some income before you go on disability. The first time I ever saw a pilot that was pregnant, I didn't know this. I'm in the crew room, and this is back in like 2008. I'm a new guy, and I see this woman get in the crew room. We don't have to be in full uniform. People walk around with their shirts unbuttoned and no tie, whatever. And I see a woman, and her shirt's untucked. I'm like, whatever. She's very thin. Whatever. And then I'm going somewhere. I go up to the gate area, and I see the same woman walking through the terminal with her shirt untucked. I'm like, this is embarrassing. Tuck in your shirt, lady. Yeah, she's pregnant. I was flying with her. She's an awesome lady. I've flown with her many times since then, but I had no idea that was a pregnancy uniform, was her shirt untucked. La 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 la. Why does your airline fly 777 and not the A321 from northeast to west Europe like JetBlue does, wouldn't that be more efficient? No. JetBlue has to do that because all that's all they have. Uh, New England to Western Europe. Sorry, no, because JetBlue does it because that's all they have. The 777, it makes money up top where the passengers are, but a ton of money underneath where all the cargo is. We carry so much cargo. Now, they are going to use the Airbus to fly to some European cities that they can't fill up a 777, right? So why don't we have the Airbuses currently doing that? The Airbuses that we currently have aren't certified to fly to, we have different models of Airbus, and ours we have a few XLRs, but not that many. The normal Neos we have aren't certified to fly over the Atlantic Ocean right now. If one day I do end up at a big nice airline, how awful would it be to commute from San Diego to LAX? It'd be horrible because those flights were often delayed. I've flown San Diego to LAX, and people who don't live in the area think San Diego to LA, that's like an hour drive, man. Just drive. I watched Doug DeMuro. And he's fully explained how that is not an hour and a half drive. That's a 3 to 4 hour drive. I've driven San Diego to LA. It's a killer drive, but I've flown San Diego to LA too. It's either easy on time or really delayed. So, hi Darren. As an experienced FO, what are things you appreciate learning from a captain, and what are your thoughts on how to point things out can be improved on the flight deck? Um, there's always stuff to learn. Different ways of taking off, landing, especially on the 777. Hearing diversion stories, uh, their thoughts on diversion, what their priorities are. Like when every captain has, in my opinion, has something is their hot button. Like something happened in their career, and this is their big thing, and it's pretty easy to pick out most times. But learning what their hot buttons are and why that is their hot button. Like they had a diversion once and it went bad, or it went great and he learned something from that diversion, or even this is the way the plane flies. There's tricks in how to fly the airplane. Things improved on the flight deck. I think right now I do appreciate on the 777 the captain first officer. We don't see each other as captain first officer for the most part. We're all a group. It's a lot more group think on the 777. A lot more talking on the 777 than on other flight decks. I like the amount of talking we do. There's very little. Well, I'm the captain. This is what we're doing. I've never even seen that in 777. So it's kind of nice having a group think atmosphere. When you move back to the Airbus, we need extra training for XLR routes to Europe. Yes, because I won't be certified on it. So like right now, um, like I'm exceptionally average, but on the when I'm very qualified in the multi theaters at my airline because I've flown. I'm very versatile. I'm gonna pull up my qualifications here. Because I've flown as a Dallas pilot. I fly to South America. I've flown to Central America. I've flown to the Caribbean, of course. I've flown to Europe, and I've flown to Asia. So my qualification list is extensive. And looking at my quals, I have 7 different qualifications. Most people who are on reserve on the 777 have 4. I have basic aeronautical. I have what's called terrain. I've been certified to fly over mountainous terrain, which is bigger than you think it is. I still have my qualification for Tegucigalpa, Honduras, which I can't fly there anymore. But I still have my qualification to fly to Tegucigalpa, Honduras. I can fly to Hawaii. I can fly to Far East Europe. I can fly to Asia, and I can fly to South America. Most pilots on the 777s who are on reserve right now have basic, Hawaii, Far East, and Atlantic. They can't fly to South America. They can't fly over terrain. So I'm very versatile, and not because I'm an amazing person. I'm not. I just happen to be in the right spot at the right time to get all these qualifications. So if I go to Airbus, I have to get qualified to fly overseas again. Well, I don't know. I think I would be because I don't know how to know how to fly. I don't know. So I will still have my Atlantic qualification. So I don't know. I'm looking at that. La 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 la. Must be nice locking TPIC while passed out on the back. It is nice being as captain. Sandro from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. My question is, to record about your daily life, do you have to notify my airline? I don't ever say who I work for, do I? Even in my lives, I never say the name of my airline on purpose. I don't ever film other employees. I don't film while I'm flying. I don't film while I'm walking on the airplane. You don't ever, you only see the who I work for. You see the side of the airplane every now and then. And that's it. Everything else I do, I do a lot of sim recreation videos and I'm in my car. What are your aspirations on your for your channel? Do you want to grow big like Mentor or 7-4 Gear? I honestly, and it sounds like I'm being cliche or whatever, but I like being small. Um, I've been approached by multiple small companies for like brand deals and sponsored videos. No. I make enough money to get enough equipment to make good videos, and it's small enough that I can have a live like this and answer all the questions. I don't want to get 500,000 or 1,000,000 subscribers. My 20,000 is just okay. I don't want to get so big where I can't see a username and know who that is, right? Many of the usernames who are asking questions, I see you guys all the time, and I like that, right? It's a good community. I don't want to get so big where I can't have that connection. So big where I can't respond to, like, I respond to every single DM, not same day, but my goal is in within a week. And I don't think people that have 1,000,000 subscribers could respond to every single DM. And I like being able to answer every single message I get because that's someone who's taking their time to message me a question that they deem really important, and I'll give that response back to them. So, which year do you think in the next 7 years would have the most hiring for new pilots at regionals, like new FOs, basically new people with ATP and minimum hours? Well, I think my current airline, we reach peak retirement here in 3 years. So 3 years from now. Do you ever get to know what you're actually carrying in the cargo bit? Only if it's hazardous. Otherwise, bananas, and if it's just regular, we don't carry nuclear waste. Uh, the most thing that we carry hazardous are like dry ice and lithium batteries. And even lithium batteries, it's a very small quantity of lithium battery. Like we're not carrying 1,000 iPads on board. It'd be lithium ion batteries packed in a certain way. What's one aircraft you'd want to retire being captain on? Airbus 350. Is 787 the only aircraft that comes to Australia in your company? No, my 777 flies to Australia out of LA. I mean, your airline, aren't there flights to Sydney or Auckland from Dallas? There are on a 78. Oh no, tell me it's not true that you're moving back to the Airbus? No, not anytime soon. Does your Airbus qualifications carry over to the triple? Yes. So, because it's the qualification to a certain theater carry over. That's why I think if I go to the Airbus, I think I would still have my Atlantic qualification. Because like my Latin terrain and my Latin America qualification and my South America qualification, I all got on the Airbus. I flew to Lima, Peru. I flew to Bogota, Colombia. I flew to Ecuador, um, and somewhere else in Colombia, all on the Airbus. So, and those carried over to 777. It's still an airport and a plane, right? La 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 la. Hey there. I feel stuck at 750 hours and not much hiring happening for my hour range. Working at FSI at seat support and thinking of staying here as I'll get PIC in a year. What's your advice for me? George, how many check ride failures do you have? And have you been to job fairs? And if you're in the Dallas area, are you going to Women in Aviation in March? First time I actually made a live. Thank you for always dropping knowledge. Hey, Mario. Tell us about your funniest or most interesting trip that had a lot of twists. I've had a lot. Sorry, my throat gets dry after about half an hour, and it's been half an hour. I've had a lot of weird trips. One of my longest flights ever was on a Super 80. We boarded the plane in Charleston, South Carolina at 2:30 in the afternoon. Headed toward Dallas. Bad weather. We held. Had to divert to Little Rock. Went to Little Rock and sat in a cargo pad for an hour or two, making the announcements to people get off the airplane, people getting off the airplane, yada yada yada. Pull into the gate. More people got out of the airplane. We refueled. Now it's 11 o'clock at night. We boarded at 2:30 in the afternoon. This is a good and bad story. We had a 5-year-old little girl on board traveling by herself. 5-year-old is the minimum age you can travel by yourself. And the captain asked me, "Hey, Darren, the weather's gone in Dallas, but they need you to extend your duty day to get to Dallas tonight." I'm like, "Well, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm feeling fine." I'm like, "Man, we have that little girl on board." And at the time, I had, let's see, this was 2018. I had an 8-year-old and a 1-year-old. I'm like, I would hate to have my 8-year-old be stuck in some random room with an airline employee for the night. Yeah, man, I can go to Dallas. So I extended my duty day, and we took off out of Little Rock. We had to fly super far north to go around the weather over up to Kansas to go down back around the weather to Dallas. The wheels touched the ground in Dallas at like 1:15, 1:30 in the morning. It was like 1:30 in the morning. And yada yada yada. We went down the rear stairs of my MD-80 at 4:30 in the morning. We boarded at 2:30 in the afternoon. We walked down the rear stairs of the Super 80 at 4:30 in the morning. That was fun. What else happened over the years? I've had lots of weird things happen. That's a good and bad story. Good that I got the little girl to her family at 4:30 in the morning. Bad that it took so long to get there. That's lots of twists though. Are there many foreign pilots in my airline? I wouldn't say many, but there's some. And I have no idea. I get this question often. I have no idea if you are not a U.S. citizen how you work at a U.S. airline. I have no information whatsoever. Got my AMP license and really hope one day to get to work on a 787. They seem like interesting planes. Do you watch the Stig on YouTube? See a username, know who. Wait, you recognize the name? I do. I'm the Irving guy. I know. I would like dropping into your lives. No. Mr. Trolia, I know your name. You're correct. Bigger channels don't even have comments like from subscribers, and that's why I like small channels. Any overnights you miss from the Airbus? A lot. I miss all my Caribbean overnights. I miss my overnights in St. Martin, St. Thomas, St. Croix, Aruba, Bermuda. I miss my Caribbean overnights. I hate being cold. Again, I went to Buenos Aires last week. It was warm. I hate everything else about it though. I do miss papaya. Papaya. And dragon fruit. Almost done with the live because I gotta get ready for kickoff here in a few minutes. Which base is the most junior in my airline? New York or LA? 4:30 in the morning is a long duty time. Also, when you were training or building hours, did you have the same 1,500 hour requirement? I did not. People hate when I say this. I was hired at a semi-magical time. When I got hired in 2007, I had 540 hours total time, 440 hours in multi-time. 540 hours, I think 542 to be exact, total time. That was before they had the 1,500-hour rule. Last question. Day Darren, I'm a pilot with about 1,700 hours. I have one interview around April. Hoping I pass the interview. Love the video. Help me stay motivated. Keep me moving forward. Isaiah, hope you pass as well. Between now and then, buy a buddy dinner. Have him go through your logbook. Know how to answer the tell me about a time questions. Tell me about a time you had a problem flying. Tell me about a time you made a bad judgment call. Tell me about a time that you learned something new about aviation. Answer the tell me about a time questions. Strongest headwind I've ever flown into? I've had over 180 knot headwinds, especially going to Asia. Like going to South Korea, the closer we get, the higher those darn winds get. And with that, I am going to go watch the Patriots lose the big game. I think I can say the word Super Bowl. I'm not quite sure because I am semi-broadcasting and I'll get sued by the NFL. My name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist. New video this Thursday will be about Buenos Aires. I have lots of other videos I'm working on. I might start dropping some small, like 5-10 minute videos in the mix during the week as well. If you don't mind, please subscribe, drop a comment, click like. Have a great day, and as always, thank you for stopping by.